Outcast finally gets a teaser trailer that's pretty vague. Then, speaking of Robert Kirkman, he says Carl might not be dead. All this and more on this week's Horror TV Weekly.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I'm sorry, I played this song just as a humble brag because I got to meet Superman this weekend at the Mammoth Film Festival, Tom Welling himself. And it's just funny, every time you hear it, you think about being 13 again, right?
Adolescence.
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of things that are scary, especially adolescent me, this is Horror TV Weekly, guys, and I'm your host, Lacretia Lyon. You can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one, but I am joined, as always, by my lovely co-host.
Hey, everyone, this is Chauncey K. Robinson, and you can find me on Twitter at Miss Chauncey KR.
All right, there's a lot to get to, so let's just break right into it. See what it did there? But yeah, Outcast Season 2 finally has a teaser trailer that teases the US release date. I've kind of known this vague date for a while, so I don't know why they keep doing this to me, but here you go. It's a great show.
My dad says it's like you're a puppet, and the black thing's pulling your strings.
This summer.
Yeah, it's definitely a blink and you'll miss it kind of teaser.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating that Cinemax did this because Outcast did so well. And honestly, as I say, the first season of Outcast was way better than the first season of Walking Dead. It was just such a good show. I've actually been following the comics, but I even quit reading because I was liking to go along with the show. But now I'm to the point where the show stopped, so I'm like, okay, do I keep going? What, I was waiting for the release date.
This is based off of the comics, right?
Yes.
And Kirkman actually did it, who did The Walking Dead, which is pretty cool. So it's going to be quality.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, as I always say, it's a great show. I highly recommend anybody watching the first 10 episodes. And two, if you, BitTorrent, you can find season 2. If you don't want to be spoiled,
Yeah, because it released, what was it, over in the UK?
In the UK, yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't know, was there some sort of legal battle or something as to why it was not coming over here? Was another cable holding something hostage sort of situation?
Well, yeah, basically. So Cinemax basically has been holding Outcast because they were looking for stuff to pair it with, because it was paired with Quarry and Banshee and things like that. But they had nothing else. And instead of just releasing the show, they have been held on to it just because they're retooling their network. And it's seriously, that's messed up.
So they're just holding it hostage. No, that's no good.
I know, because as I say, it was a great show. I mean, I'm sure season 2 will be really good too, because usually season 2 is where you're like, yep, this is where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, that's sometimes the case with shows. Sometimes shows, have a whole sophomore slump, but if you're saying this one is even better on the second season. Have you seen it yet, the second season? Should I ask you that?
Yeah, I may have. I watched some of the first episode, but
Okay.
I've been waiting for it to come out so I could legally watch it.
Okay. Yeah, because this show, from my understanding, deals with demonic possession.
Oh yeah, and that's and two, you're not really sure if it's demons or what while we're at in the show and where I'm at in the comics. So you're not sure if it's demon, because there are some people that are possessed that are not actually bad people. And so that's the interesting part about it, is some people get possessed by this, black being, we'll just say, because it's very vague, and yet they're trying to do good. So it's kind of interesting. It's a little bit of a different take.
It's a little bit of a gray area when it comes to demonic possession. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I
and
haven't
two.
seen it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I recommend it. I mean, the first season, I think you can definitely still get it on the Cinemax app, but yeah.
Cinemax. Okay.
Yeah. It is a good show. But speaking of things that make people angry, the Venom trailer was released. And as for all intents and purposes, I'm pretty sure the whole internet is mad about it. Let's see why. Did we see Venom in that? I believe that's why the internet is pissed.
I am part of the pissed group.
Yeah. Well, and not just Venom. Where the hell is Carnage?
Yeah.
Maybe they're still like working on post-production. I don't know.
I don't know.
Everyone's got their thing.
Does he have an accent?
Yeah, I feel
Sounds
like
like
he
he's
does
got an
actually have
accent,
an
right?
accent in this movie. They didn't tell him to get
Maybe
rid.
it's a breakup.
Tom already has an accent, right? In real life?
Yeah.
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 I don't think they told him to get rid of
A
it.
death.
not
I
that
mean,
big.
Eddie Brock is like a New Yorker. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe it's his
great
bad
cast.
interpretation
Yeah.
of the New York accent.
Because Tom Hardy is a great actor. But
Yeah, he is.
They're really hiding the shark
Yeah.
here, though.
Yeah.
I loved him as Bane.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
Right?
Right? Oh my gosh.
Batman.
That was.
Batman.
There it is, Venom. See it.
Yep. Yep, nothing.
See, I don't know why people are mad. They just showed it to us.
Yeah, that little bit there, that was a symbiote.
Oh, well.
See, you know what? I wanted like a Deadpool-esque movie with Carnage. That would have been fun, where he just goes around killing people for fun.
Just be like a slasher flick, but like with superheroes, like a super villain.
Yeah.
That's
But,
awesome.
but yeah, I'm like, I would watch that movie where he just goes around killing people, and then he gets the suit, and he still just does the same thing, only more.
I mean, okay,
Yeah.
so I'll be in the minority here because I actually was one of the few people, I guess, who was not mad at this trailer. I actually thought it was pretty
Yeah.
cool. I didn't want it. I mean, it would have been cool to see Venom, but it's a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
It's not the full one. Of course, they're going to make it so that you don't see him necessarily. I mean, that would be like a huge reveal right there, and it's a teaser trailer.
Well, and two, maybe just like a little bit of a snippet. Just
We know what he looks like, though.
Yeah.
We know what Venom looks like.
I know,
It's
but
not-
it would have been cool. At least you're playing devil's advocate here. But yeah, I was like,
I'm
everyone else
actually-
is really mad about it.
I feel
I'm
like
not even doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, this is not like even contrived. I
Yeah.
actually dug the trailer. I
Yeah.
was not mad at it, and that's why I was when I finished it, because as soon as it came on my Twitter timeline, because it was on the Super Bowl
Yeah.
on television or whatever, and it came on my timeline, I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. For once, I did not look at anyone's comments. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I go on, and I'm like, what did everyone think? And then I'm going through the hashtag, and everyone's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Well, and two, I'm like, they could have done like just like the back of him or the side. Like you could have done just a little bit would have made go a long way. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I feel like it's clear, even with the teaser trailer, that they're concentrating on the character development.
Yeah.
It's very clear they're talking about this guy who's probably going through something and that struggle. So it's this idea of it's probably going to be one of those things like he doesn't become Venom.
Yeah.
We'll probably be very pissed at the movie itself because he might not even become Venom until like the last
Very
20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, he may be like fighting it, and then the last 10 to 15 minutes we get Venom, and it's like part 2 coming back. You know,
Damn it! Now I think that's what they're gonna do.
because I really think they very much with this teaser trailer, I got the glimpse that they're going to be focusing on character. So
Yeah, and two, as I say, I know a lot of people don't really like that they've chosen Venom, but it's like really, that's a popular character, and I know that didn't really work out in Spider-Man 3, but that's because they didn't want to do it, so they were like, screw it. But yeah, like, Venom is a cool character, and Eddie Brock is sort of at least a complicated man. I know a lot of people would have rather seen the Flash Thompson is what I saw,
Yeah.
but, you know, Joe Manganiello's busy being Deathstroke.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah. You're like, that's fair.
Also, what I was thinking about,
Because it
like,
looks good. Yeah.
yeah, real quick, I just want to say also what I was thinking that, like, since the internet's such vultures, you know, if they
Yeah.
showed Venom right away, it would probably be torn apart if there was like even something slightly amiss with it, you know?
True.
Exactly.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right in my opinion too. Like, I feel like we live in this day and age where someone would have found something wrong with
Oh,
it.
Yeah.
every
You know,
time.
it just no one would have been satisfied. He could have looked exactly like a live action version of the comics that we've seen, and people would be like, well, why did they do it? Why didn't they do something different? You know? I mean, I think either way, I think maybe that was also what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Like, we can't show them now because, but considering it's coming out in October, we've got some months. This is just going to give people whole time to just like rip it to shreds. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just recently like wrapped up filming as well. And what I was thinking is just that, oh man, I kind of lost my thought. Sorry about that.
no,
You're
it's
good.
fine. I mean, I just think
Yeah.
it's going to be definitely character development. I honestly, my prediction, I will predict right now, we won't see Venom in that movie until like the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be the last act.
He's not
yeah.
gonna be full of Venom for a minute. People are gonna be pissed.
I just remembered.
Well, and it doesn't make sense to have it in the first act anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, I think this is just like a trailer to really set the tone for the film. Like especially that last shot of Tom Hardy in the bed just going crazy.
Yeah.
That's like what I loved the most.
No, yeah, that was the highlight of it to me too.
Because I want more of that.
Yeah, as I say, I love a symbiote, but I actually prefer the red one. I should have brought my mug. I have a big old Carnage one. Yeah, Carnage is just more fun. But yeah, speaking of fun, Ash vs. Evil Dead is just keeps ramping up their little stuff going on with Ash's Who's Your Daddy bits. This one's on crime.
Who's your daddy? There's an old saying, crime doesn't pay. And that's good advice to give your kids, but only about real crimes. I mean, is it a crime to take a donut without paying for it? The law says yes. Papa Ash says, hey, it's just a donut. Hey, lighten up. Same goes for gum and beef jerky. And anything you can fit in your pocket. Hey, lady!
Always drinking ships there. Oh, the sad thing is Ash's parenting advice is similar to mine. You know, if you're doing something illegal, don't get caught.
Anything you can fit in your pocket.
Yeah, and that's why you have big pockets. But they decided to cut out all the blood and cursing and replace it with fun little cartoon bits in this next clip here. There's probably not a lot of dialogue. I love the baby bottle.
I've never been so proud.
No. Oh, Ash. I still wish Kelly was his daughter like they intended, but you know what? It's still fun to see Ash be a dad. He's a goofy character. Well, speaking of hot dads, that's a weird segue, but Mark Paul Gosselaar is his show The Passage, which is a vampire series pilot for Fox, is going through some reshoots.
Yeah, no, this looks really cool. I mean, Mark Paul Gosselaar is I feel like I've kind of started calling him the unofficial king of like shows that don't get a chance as much.
Yeah, because my boobs are named Franklin and Bash.
That's and also fun fact, guys.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, he was
show.
he was in Pitch, which was a really phenomenal
It was
show
good.
that Fox did not let them do the second season. I think they really should have, given it another chance to like catch on. They gave the Mindy Project like 5 years, but
I love that show.
I'm just
so
saying,
take that back.
I'm not taking it back because it was a superly like low rated show and they kept renewing it and it was like you couldn't do that for Pitch. Like, okay.
Well, that was actually because NBC owned it. But
And also, I mean, it was getting like critical praise or whatever.
And it was a good show.
Yeah,
but Pitch was too.
Yeah, Pitch was really good. But anyway, Mark Paul Gosselaar is in this new show, The Passage, which kind of deals with him. I think he's playing a soldier that is trying to basically save this young girl named Amy Belafonte, who is basically like the key to like saving humanity. So they had already filmed it, but now they're basically doing reshoots. And what goes on in, I guess, the industry or whatever like that is that they've replaced like certain characters, certain actors who won't be in it any longer, and they've added like 3 new characters and they're looking for casting for it. So
I just hope it's a lot easier than say erasing a mustache. I mean,
all the CGI advancements in the world and like, no, yeah, exactly. I mean, it looks like it might be pretty interesting. It's based off of the best-selling trilogy book. So for people who are fans of the book, that'll be, really cool to see and see how well they like. I mean, considering that they're actually like replacing characters so easily though, I'm guessing I'm guessing that it may not be exactly like, it's probably going to be very loosely based off of the book, kind of maybe the idea of it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes that works out well. I mean, to me, certainly if I've not read the book, I mean, I'm not even going to notice. And because, I didn't even realize this was a book. I was just like, ooh, Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always excited to get him back on our screens. We actually have the same birthday, me, him, and Jensen Ankles, March 1st.
Oh, wow.
We're March 1st,
It's
baby.
coming up, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm rooting for this show because anything that's, like, epic, it's supposed to be, like, vampires, maybe, with the whole, like we were saying before, like, the horror television kind of getting this rejuvenation that this will actually catch on.
Yeah.
So.
And Jensen could come over to the show. That would really help it because he's really good about being a vampire or killing them. So
that's what's up.
That March 1st, guys. Yeah.
But Supernatural will never end, probably.
No.
So.
But who knows? Passage. Where was it shot? In Vancouver? No.
They're always in Vancouver.
Everything's
right?
in Vancouver
And
nowadays.
this is actually from the people who are behind it, like the executive producers and stuff, are from Alien Prometheus and other movies and shows that we've Cloverfield, love it or hate it, that franchise. They're behind it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is this actually looks good and not just because of him. So we'll have to see. I mean, hopefully it gets out soon. But speaking of things that, honestly at this point just need to end because Chris Carter flipped his take again. And now is like, well, hold on. There's still more stories to tell. We might go on without Scully. I love the X-Files, but I hate you. I will just say that because it's like, dude, seriously, come on.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where I personally, as a Mulder and Scully shipper, would not want to see it, keep going without these two make the show. They're the heart of the show. I know Mulder, he left for some seasons. I think it was season 7 and 8 he wasn't around, and then he came back towards 9.
And I didn't even really watch those until later because of that.
Yeah,
I was
because he wasn't there, and they had the 2 other agents who were really great, but it was like they weren't Mulder and Scully. And it's like, I think even when they did this reboot, they had to realize this is what people wanted, and they wanted Mulder and Scully. So the idea that Scully wouldn't be there, it's like, who would be his person? Who would be the person to bounce off of ideas if Mulder even stays?
Well, yeah, because that's the thing that's a big if. I mean, David Duchovny didn't even really want to do this.
Yeah.
It was just like, hey, this needs to be done because we're really mad about the other ending. And so that's sort of the thing is I don't think he would come back either. Yeah. And I would be okay if they did it with Robbie Amell and Lauren Ambrose's character. I was like, redhead. Einstein and what was his name? Because we've hardly seen him at all, Robbie. I was like, if they did it with them, it wouldn't be like a reboot per se, but it would be like, okay, these characters were introduced. Like, I could deal with them hunting aliens. It wouldn't be Mulder and Scully, but at least it would be a different dynamic and wouldn't take away from that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, if you want to do that, I'm okay with it. But, yeah, you may just want to call it the new X-Files or, like Scrubs did that randomly.
Have a whole different, dynamic, a different partnership, know? And that's fine, It's a great premise for a show, as we know, because it's it's a hit series, like 2 cops finding aliens or not in the supernatural. So it's a tale as old as sci-fi time, you know. So it's not like you couldn't bring 2 new characters for that a new generation could get into, and kind of let those of us who love Mulder and Scully kind of hold on to some semblance of them being give them a happy ending, let them go off somewhere, have Mulder call occasionally to help out the other 2 people. I don't know, but it's kind of like, let them retire. Yeah,
and that's sort of the thing is I think a lot of us want a happy ending for Mulder and Scully. So if it were to continue on possibly with Mulder, it'd be like they're not going to get their happy ending. But if it were to be the other characters, I'd be okay with it because it'd be kind of like CSI or Law & Order where they've switched up the dynamics before. But yeah, when you had something as pure as Mulder and Scully, it's sort of like when you tried to replace Benson and Stabler, and I don't know how you don't get, no matter how hot they are, like Amaro, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah. People fall in love with, certain character dynamics. We don't like change. We don't like change all the time.
Even if you keep bringing Dean Winters back, but when you take him away, I'm just I'll just go on and on and on. Let's talk about Child's Play. It could be a TV series.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Like, how is that happening?
well, because too,
I've been trying to wrap my mind
Yeah.
around it ever since I've heard the news.
well, how are you gonna go stories with this unless
It's an
you
epic
just
picture, by the way.
like, yeah, I love that picture. Like with Ash versus Evil Dead, like it's a goofy concept, and if you made this where Chucky is sort of like maybe like Stewie from Family Guy, just getting into things, like maybe pair him with a dog, I could get it if it was like comedy, but I'm like,
want
yeah,
it straight up comedy. Though.
Yeah.
I feel like that would cheapen it. I mean, there's funny moments, like there have been funny moments within that franchise, but to make it straight up like
Yeah.
horror, like comedy with the horror elements underneath, I think, I don't know.
no.
I just don't know if I'd like that as much. Because it you know, it would remind me of the remember the Freddy versus Jason movie?
Oh yeah,
That was straight up comedy, and
it
I
was
hated
funny.
it. And I mean, it was funny, but I hated it as part of the franchise because I was like, you've made Freddy a joke, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like he can make jokes, but he's not the joke, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like this would be the same thing. Like, you know, there can be some weird moments that happen for Chucky, but he's not the joke itself.
Yeah, it'd have to be at least a little scary, but yeah, I'm just like, how could they do that? Like,
yeah, it's
yeah,
like, how
and
do
make it a
you-
show, yeah.
Like Chucky's around, like maybe it takes 6 episodes to find him or something, and it's I don't understand how
Yeah.
that, but there's a chance, so yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was the Camp Crystal Lake TV series that was being worked on, and I knew some people involved with that, and it never came to fruition, but it's still, like, on hold, kind of, with some networks, so it may come out, but I'm like, I at least see where you could go with that. It'd almost be kind of like, you did, like, a 10-episode, almost like Wet Hot American Summer, like, just different parts of the camp, and maybe different, like, you know, sort of things. I mean, it wouldn't have to be goofy like Wet Hot, but
Yeah.
but just, we've seen camp stuff work out before, or Salute Your Shorts. Yeah,
Oh my
you know,
gosh,
yeah.
I love Salute Your Shorts.
Camp Rwanda, we hold you in our hearts.
Yes.
And when we think about you,
It
you
makes
make
us
me
wanna-
fart. It's I hope we never part. Do it right or pay the price.
And yeah, they
Yeah.
were saying that if Mancini, who is behind the
Yep.
Child's Play series, it was saying that if they did the series, it would be set up at the end of the last movie. So clearly it's like still within the same vein of that universe. And then, but it's going to be, he's saying a tone is dark and disturbing.
Yeah, it's like so in the vein of the franchise. So he's got a bride and a seed and a so it's like, is it Chucky family values?
Yeah,
I
like,
mean,
is
like
it, and
what?
who's the focus of it? You know,
Yeah.
is it Chucky that we're going to get his POV? Which to me, I don't want to be that intimate with the monster
Yeah.
itself, you know, because he's still the monster, you know, and it's like when it's coming like where he's like we're getting his inner monologues and stuff.
Like Frankenstein, which that was the difference of that. Frankenstein wasn't the real monster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was the humanity was, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
and so it's, you know, I'm just kind of I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Like I think I'd watch it. I will watch anything most of the time. You
Yeah.
know, so I will look at it. But it's the same thing of how do you make that a series necessarily?
Yeah, I mean, that's a little odd.
Like who's the perspective from? Also, I kind of wonder, is it like when we're seeing a lot of this happen, when we're seeing like the movies and they're trying to make these TV franchises or take the movie into the take that franchise into the TV verse. Is this, you know, I'm kind of wondering, is it a financial thing? Is there more to be gained from it?
Well, I honestly prefer TV a lot of times because
Yeah.
we're with the story longer. With the movie, it's just like, even if you get like a Marvel or DC where there's all these like interconnecting things, there's still that it's done. Like with TV though, is you get it like more. I mean, more is always better, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And they have a lot more time to develop the characters and you kind of fall in love with them or whatever. And that's the thing though, is like, do we need that with Chucky?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I think it works for certain kind of stories where it makes sense to stay with a story longer.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the great series on Netflix, Dark. It
Yeah.
makes so much sense to stay with that kind of story longer. It does. I don't know if it makes as much sense to stay with a story like Child's Play. I'd even take a Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Yeah, because Freddy is an interesting character.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's so many elements of the dream world and the different aspects of that and what controls that you can kind of dive into. Chucky is a possessed doll.
No.
So he's not a possessed doll. He's like actually the doll now, depending on which movie you're on. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know. They changed the origin stories so much. Yeah.
He gets stuck in the body, so now he can bleed and have children.
I know. It's like, that's some weird stuff. And I always thought it was weird that Angel had a child. Now that they have dolls having babies, so
Yeah.
vampires were
Had
nothing.
a child,
then.
and it wasn't with Buffy. But whatever. I digress.
I'm sorry. I'm a Spuffy fan, and Angel and Cordelia should
Let's
have
not
won.
fight on air.
Yeah, those are some fighting words. But yeah, speaking of things that are obviously fighting words, Robert Kirkman is screwing with us yet again.
Guys, I
Yeah.
don't even know. How is he? I feel like he's backtracking.
Well, yeah, he's like, oh, he might not die. Well, and I almost feel that it's like with anything, he's just like trying to get people, like he loves to mess with fans.
Yeah.
So I think that this is what it is him just messing with you because, yeah, there's no way he survives. And like they've had a send off for the actor.
For those that know, Carl
Yeah.
got bitten. Spoiler alert, last like
Yeah.
mid-season.
If you don't know, what rock are you under?
But it's like, and he didn't get bitten on a part that you can like,
Cut off, yeah.
cut off. It was like where was it? Like, was his side, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't cut any part of that off. So it's like, unless they found the cure, his blood somehow has the cure. I don't see there's any way of him like surviving this, but he's saying that there may be a chance.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's, unless you're changing, unless there's a game changer that didn't occur in the comics yet.
Yeah.
Which
like-
I don't see happening.
I don't either. I think, as I say, Chandler Riggs has done his send off.
His
We know.
dad was
Yeah.
pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was a whole thing about. And I understand that. So and that's why I was also wondering, because we know the controversy that happened where Carl was bitten and stuff, and that the controversy of the actor not knowing that he wasn't going to be able to, like, he wasn't going to be around for some years with the show. So I kind of thought, well, is he backtracking now? Is there a whole thing to like, okay, we won't kill you off because this looks bad? But I feel storyline wise, as much as it, I think it's sort of, Carl has not been my favorite character, but I did think that him dying is kind of unnecessary, because even though he's not my favorite character, I also think at this point it would be a cop-out not to go through with it.
Yeah, too. That's what I agree. I didn't want him to die as much as I agree. I didn't really like his character, but he needed to be around, and it's an important part of the comics, and you don't always have to marry to that. But the thing is I didn't really understand the purpose other than just pure shock value, which seemed a little cheap to me. And that this show doesn't need that. The ratings were falling, but considering how high they were, it was okay. You can take a hit every now and then. But yeah, I just feel like this is just another like, I'll mess with him a little bit.
Yeah, I think Carl is still a goner.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, because all I've heard is that it's bring your tissues and yeah. So of course we all know what that means. But again, going back to happier times, we have the first look at the new Salem for the Sabrina the Teenage Witch Netflix series. And of course, he's just a cute black kitty.
Doesn't look like he's gonna be talking.
Yeah, I know that a talking cat just doesn't seem to fit this tone, but it's still like I kind of wish.
It.
Yeah,
maybe he'll have telekinesis.
That's what I thought.
To say that he might have like telepathy or something.
Yeah, that would be a little bit more slick looking. Not as fun as Salem when he used to like file his nails and stuff on the other show with Melissa Joan Hart and them. But I can see this.
I hope he has like a really grungy voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder whose voice is going to be playing the voice. That would be interesting.
Yeah, they should get a really good goofy voice actor. Kind of like Patton Oswalt with Happy.
Yeah.
Like, somebody like that. But I feel like Salem, he should be like a very like sexy guy voice, I think.
Really?
Almost. Like, that'd be funnier. Like, yeah.
I have to look up who played the previous Salem.
I know. It was like Nick something. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him. He was so funny.
Yeah.
I feel like Salem should still be a funny person though. Hopefully they don't make it so he's like all serious, like Sailor Moon kind of cats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, anime reference. But like,
Oh, I know. I watched
they're
that
so
one.
like serious. And so hopefully he still has that comedy about him. Because cats are like inherently funny. So
yeah, that's the thing is my cat screws with me. It's funny.
Yeah.
Like I like that. And that's
I feel,
I was just gonna say it should be like a trickster type guy. Yeah.
Exactly. Still make it so he makes wisecracks and
Yeah.
stuff. And he doesn't have to be British to do that. I know that's always a thing.
Yeah, it was Nick McKay who was Salem. I was like,
Okay.
it was Nick something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's
he
a
can
lot
still
of
do it,
yeah.
right? I mean, he's a voice actor.
Yeah, why not? And that's the thing is like there's a lot of great voice actors there. So hopefully they give it to someone who's really more of a
Yeah.
voice actor.
I hope he still has the same kind of personality. I'd be sad if
Yeah.
he didn't.
Yeah, cats have to be sassy. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But Jazz Sinclair is going to play Sabrina's friend. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw that casting. I haven't seen her in many things. I do remember her as one of Bonnie's ancestors in The Vampire Diaries.
Oh, yeah.
When I actually, like, glanced at it in the final season. Because I stopped watching around season 3. Bayman forever, everybody. So I ship it. So, but yeah, no, this seems really cool.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, I wasn't really familiar because I didn't watch The Vampire Diaries. I'll admit that. I've seen a few episodes. It seemed like a good show, though.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
yeah, and she's playing Rosalind.
Yeah.
And if you look at like the Sabrina wiki, like she's actually from the character is actually from the old school comics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if she's. I haven't. I'll admit I haven't read the revamped, darker reboot comics, but I know in the old school one, Rosalind is there, and they started off as rivals. And then they end up becoming friends. So I guess they're doing the same thing. Although she doesn't look like that in the comics. She's like blonde and white and everything. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Kudos for diversity too. So.
Yeah, because that's sort of the thing now. I mean, did Sabrina have any ethnic friends on the original show? I don't remember.
Melissa Joan Hart's show?
Yeah, I was like...
yeah, she did actually.
Yeah.
Not like regular friends, but her
Yeah.
boyfriend was actually, I forgot his name. You're so much better with names than that. The guy from Scrubs.
Oh, Donald Faison.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
I
was
remember.
the boyfriend
Yeah.
for a bit.
Yeah, I love him. And
Yeah.
because I always liked him in Clueless, too. Like,
Yeah, he was on there for a bit. So but that was the only time. So yes, you're pretty much
Yeah,
right.
that's why I was like, I'm pretty sure that I remember Sabrina being an all-white show. And I'm
It
like,
was,
oh,
it
good.
was.
And apparently John Huertas from Castle and This Is Us was on there, too, because I was looking. I was like,
Like, any
let's
people
see.
of
Are there
color?
any non-white people? Yeah, there was a few.
just a few. But yeah, this is really cool, and she's playing the preacher, the town preacher's daughter in this, so that'll be cool. And they're calling it so like she's gonna be empowered, and they didn't use the word sassy, so that's
Yeah.
a plus, I guess. So, but she's gonna be empowered and outspoken, which, she's black, so it's a little bit sassy.
Yeah.
That's what
I mean,
it is.
it's just a given.
Yeah.
So.
So.
But yeah, I mean, and What We Do in the Shadows has also done some casting with Doug Jones. And
Yeah, I saw that. And he's played some iconic characters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
I know. I'm really looking forward to this show. I'm like, it
Yeah.
sounds so fun.
they're getting a whole arsenal of like really cool actors and really cool like talent within the show. So it should be really interesting when it actually comes out. Hopefully they'll give it a chance too.
Well, yeah, and I feel like Taika Waititi's stuff is done
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah.
I feel like this is not something that they're going to cancel early. Because, yeah, you've got Beanie Feldstein, too, from Lady Bird, Jake McDormand, also from Lady Bird, and then Mark Proskett from The Office and Better Call Saul. He's really funny. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And, of course, it's going to be funny, like, being as the whole concept, and that's Taika's, MO. But yeah, I'm like, I feel like FX will give the show like a pretty good little run there.
Yeah.
And it's FX. They typically don't cancel stuff unless it's Terriers because they just didn't get it.
Yeah, or they'll put it on FXX
Yeah.
like they did with Archer.
Oh, yeah. Archer, legit, almost all the comedy stuff, they're like, we're going to just put it over there.
Yeah, we won't cancel it. We'll just put it on a station that a lot of people don't get.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, does anyone here get FXX?
I don't, and I'm very annoyed. That's why I mentioned Archer.
Yeah. It's like, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, these shows were struggling, and then you're going to put them over here where no one can see them.
I will never understand cable.
Just put things on Hulu. I'll watch it there, okay?
Yeah. Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, people use those. It's like, I have cable, but I don't even have that. But yeah, I mean, that is it for our news, I think. But we, speaking of, we were talking about The Walking Dead earlier, and it is Black History Month as well as Women in Horror Month. So this week we have a little bit on Danae Guerra. Of course, I picked her best zombie murders here.
The badass Michonne.
I know. Michonne is definitely one of my favorite characters.
She's awesome. Both in the comics and the show.
Well, I mean, How can you not?
entrance.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is like you knew this character was gonna be cool.
Not a gun. She's wielding the
Swords. Yeah. I like her style. I mean, like, that's just cool. It's like, anybody can use a gun. I can use these samurai swords. And I liked her friendship with Andrea.
Yeah. Who she would eventually take some of her plot line.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, then she basically became Andrea.
Yeah, pretty much. Which I did not see coming.
No, who knew that she would get some deep frickin' one day. But yeah, I always loved all the prison stuff.
Yeah, the prison was some of their best seasons
Yeah.
when they were in the prison. It was some of the best seasons.
Although that one just basically looked like Reagan from The Exorcist.
And this character, I mean, Danae is so great when it comes to like the subtle way that she does the acting, especially for Michonne. And the character has come such a long way too in terms of like expressing like emotions, the connection she's made with poor Carl.
Yeah.
Carl. And of course, the epic love story of her and Rick. I ship it.
Yeah, I mean, they're adorable. I'm sorry, and I will admit, I do sadly love Merle because I love Michael Rooker.
Oh,
But
yeah, I like Merle too. I
like,
mean, he was
an awful
racist,
person,
misogynistic, but the actor is so awesome. So.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's the thing is Michonne is such a layered character because as you mentioned her relationship with Carl and you realize, she lost her own son and she's just so guarded. And I relate to that, not really wanting to be vulnerable and show emotion, but when she gets to, it's always done so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you all can catch her this week in friggin' Black Panther, just kicking ass. Everyone go watch that movie.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, you've got her and Lupita in this movie. How can you go wrong? And then, of course, Michael B. Jordan. I love that man. He can literally play anything. I don't even get mad when he plays like more than one Marvel character like I normally do. I'm like, nope, he can play all of them.
Yeah.
He is so pretty. But yeah, enough about pretty people. I think that is it for this show. Chauncey, where can they keep up the conversation with you?
You can find me on Twitter at Miss Chauncey KR.
All right, and since I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys, you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet since there is only one. And be sure to download my podcast, Mrs. Brightside. You'll notice a lot of familiar voices from AfterBuzz TV on there. It comes out every Tuesday, and it can be found on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, pretty well any podcast app I could think of. And then this show will be airing at a new time from now on, Thursdays at 6 p.m. so that you guys can get your horror TV news a little bit earlier now. Thank you guys so much.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.